So today I'm going to show you how the Absolute Excel income tax filer bridging software will work. So when you first get the software, you'll need to authorise it with HMRC, which takes you through a process that will then last for 18 months, and you will then create the taxpayer. Once the taxpayer has been created, you can then click into Edit, and through here you can tell the system to make a calendar election. So if you want to switch from the standard quarters to the calendar quarters, you go into calendar election and then you can do a calendar quarter. You can also, through the taxpayer window, change the accounting type. So if you want to switch from cash to accrual basis, then you can do that as well. So once the taxpayer has been set up, you would select the name, and this will then retrieve from HMRC the filing obligations for that client. The bridging software has been designed so that you can use it for the full end-to-end journey. So from filing the quarterlies straight through via the accounting adjustments to the final declaration, or you can use it for part of the journey. So if you wanted to use it to file just the quarterlies, and then that information is downloaded into a separate tax return package to complete the year-end process, then that can also be done. So when you come to file the quarterly submissions, we've got two spreadsheet options. So we've got what we call the bridging spreadsheet, which has been designed to link to any existing Excel file. So for a taxpayer or an agent who already has the details in an Excel spreadsheet and wants to continue using the file that they are familiar with, then they can use the bridging spreadsheet to link the total values and then file that online to HMRC. The alternative option is the DRK, so the digital record keeping spreadsheet. So this is a template that was designed for individuals or taxpayers that don't already have the records in Excel. And it's also a template that as an agent you could send to your clients for them to log the transactions quarterly, and then they could send the file back to you to upload via the software to HMRC. So if I show you the two options, so what we've got here is a simple cash book that's been put together. So it just shows the income and the expenses that the client has been logging in their own format. And then they've produced a summary which will have the year-to-date values. So what we've got here is the bridging spreadsheet. So this is the self-employment one. The properties one will be in a similar format. The headings here will just relate to the SA105 property pages. So to link to the existing Excel spreadsheet, you would click on to link cells, and then you would select the cell that you wish to link. So if I choose income turnover, for example, I can then go to the cash book, select that cell, and then that will filter through onto the bridging spreadsheet. So I just go through the process for each cell that I want to link. So I've done the income. Now if I want to do the expenses, for example, I would click into staff costs, choose the value, and then I can just work my way down into each of the relevant expenses and link that through. If your client's turnover is below the 90,000 current limit, if you do want to file consolidated expenses, then you can do that via the spreadsheet. So rather than linking the individual expenses, you would just link the consolidated expense value through to one cell on the client's file. So once you've done the linking process, you would finish and save the spreadsheet, and then this is what is uploaded via the client portal to HMRC. So to do that, you would just go back to the filing dates window, you click on upload, select the file, and then this will display on screen the values that you've linked, so you can check those prior to submission, and then you would click on to submit periodic update. What this does is it displays on screen what has been transmitted, and it will also give you the option to download a receipt from HMRC. If at any point you want to see what you have filed, if you go back into the filing dates window, if you click onto the business, it will show you the figures. So these are what's coming through from the HMRC demo system, but this will display the figures as per the client's personal tax account. So the second option then is the digital record keeping spreadsheet. So if I bring this up on screen, this is basically a template that you can log your transactions and then on a quarterly basis upload that via the client portal to HMRC. So when you download it, you will get tabs for self-employment with a summary, and then the same for UK property. And when you create the client within the client portal, you will elect as to whether they are VAT registered or not, and that will then determine whether or not you get the input, output VAT columns. So all you would do is you just go through and log your income and your expenses. So I just, for example, put through some travel costs. Once that's all been logged for the quarter, you can click onto the summary tab to check those values, and then this is what you would upload via the client portal to HMRC. So to do that, the process is the same. You'd go into the filing dates window, you'd click on upload, you'd select the template, Again, it will show you what has been populated, and then you can click on to submit periodic update, and that will then again show you what has been filed and the option to download a PDF receipt. So within the software, you can also then make any accounting adjustments and file non-mandated income as part of the year-end process. So the accounting adjustments is done by way of a business source adjustable summary, or BSAS, and the annual summary. So what you would do to access that is you choose the accounting adjustments option, and then you would choose accounting adjustments against the business that you want to amend. Again, these values are just what's coming through from the HMRC, but all it does is it will show you your income, all of the expenses, including the disallowables, and then you've got the option where you can make any adjustments such as overlap, averaging adjustments, and then you've got allowances. With the allowances, you can either list out capital allowances if that's what you need to claim, or if you want to use the trading and income allowance, you can enter that and just put in the one value. And you can also, through this option, say whether or not you are exempt from Class 4 NIC, and you would just then select the relevant reason here. So to make the adjustments, all you would do is it will show you the HMRC values, and then you would just put in an increase or a decrease depending on what adjustments you're trying to make. The totals will then show on the right-hand side, so you can check those, and then when you're ready to submit online, you would click on Submit Adjustments. Similar to the filing of the quarterlies, it will then give you the option to download a PDF receipt for your records. At any time that you make a submission online to HMRC, so either the quarterly submissions or the BSAS accounting adjustments, the system will automatically trigger a tax calculation. So any changes will then show on the client's personal tax account. The other option that you can do via the software is you can submit the other income. So this would be the non-mandated income such as interest, dividends, pensions, that type of thing. So to do that, you would go into other income, and then from here you can select the income source. So if I, for example, say interest from UK savings, I can then add a savings account. So just put in the name of the account. And then once that's been created, you can then select the account and you can put in any taxed or untaxed interest. This would be filed as part of the year-end process, but you can submit it on a quarterly basis if you choose to. And each time you basically select other income, it will then just retrieve from HMRC what they already hold, and then you can just update the figures where needed. If I go back to other income, for example, if the client also had some dividends, we click into UK dividends, and then from here I can put in the dividend amount, and then again click on to save, and that will then send it automatically to HMRC. So once all the income has been filed, you would then submit a final calculation and the declaration online. So that's done through the calculations final option in the top right hand corner here. So what you would do is you would trigger the calculation as an intent to finalise. So this is just confirming to HMRC that everything has been submitted and therefore you want to do the final declaration. And to submit that final declaration, you would choose that option in the system. Gives you a final statement to confirm that everything has been submitted, and then you would just click on to the confirm option. That will then send to HMRC, and again there's just an option at each stage through the process to download a PDF receipt for your records.